Change can happen with human beings departing from the point that we are all people who basically have the intention to live in love, peace and harmony together. If that wasn't my departure point, I would never have started this mission 21 years ago.
The mission that Peter embarked upon was to get the church and gay people to talk to each other. The journey started in 1995 when he founded Gay and Lesbian Outreach. In 2000, the name changed to I Am, Inclusive and Affirming Ministries.
The core of our focus is making church communities inclusive and affirming of all people. Our specific focus is focused on gender identity and sexual orientation, but it also includes race, language, whatever. That's what we believe the church should be, a welcoming beacon of hope that's inclusive, include everybody, and affirm, support everybody.
It was so wonderful to be part of Inclusive and Affirming Ministry when we changed the name from Gay and Lesbian Christian Outreach to Inclusive and Affirming Ministries. Inclusive of what God gave when God gave human beings their sexuality, their embodiment, and all that goes with sexuality. What we are affirming is the diversity of both aspects of being a human being, to the fullest sense of the word, your spirituality, your sense of spirit, and your sexuality.
Courageous gay and lesbian Christians telling their stories openly. That is how I decided that is the most important mode for me of change, is that if somebody hear my story, they must have hearts of steel to feel the same afterwards as before. And that is the first few years is all I did, going from congregation to platforms, to synod meetings, name it, telling my story. My story is not debatable. It is my story. Do with it what you like.
Peter's personal struggle started within the Dutch Reformed Church, or NG Kerk, but the same debate has been raging in other Christian churches. One of the most prominent cases of the last few years is that of Ecclesia de Lange, a Methodist minister who wanted to marry her same-sex partner.
I had a choice of three options. Either I resign as a Methodist minister, that was my first choice, or second choice was keep the status quo, keep your head down and continue to be a Methodist minister. Or the third one, which I opted for, is to come out in a way of trying to normalize same-sex unions and announce to my congregation. I was suspended and charged in 2009 and then consequently discontinued as a Methodist minister in 2010. It was a combined anger and pain of just coming to terms with this family where I'm included through my baptism. All of a sudden says that you're not okay, that you're not part of the family. That was accompanied with extreme loss, severe rejection, deep pain, and just coming to a place of realizing this is what the church had done to me. But not only to me, much wider. I'm not the only one. There's been so many before me that has been rejected and alienated by the church, and the church continues to do this.
This is a sentiment which is being echoed by many other LGBTI people who are trying to live their lives inside the church communities in South Africa.
Coming out within the Urksa church, I think it was something new for them, because now there's a face, now there's somebody in this space facing them, coming straight to them and say, listen here, this is who I am, and I want to be a minister within the Urksa church.
My name is Erna, and this is our daughter. Her name is Ami. She came home when she was 6 months old. My name is Liesel. We've been together for 13, 14 years now.
Yeah.
And in 2009, we got married within the Civil Union Act. Both of us studied practical theology, and I've been working in the Dutch Reformed Church for many years as a youth worker, later on lecturing in practical theology at the college where I studied. We realized that if we want to pursue a relationship and be ourselves in this relationship, the church is not a safe space to work in.
It became a decision to either be working in the church or either be in a relationship, and at that stage we made the decision to be in a relationship.
Personally, I have reached the phase where I've accepted my identity as a homosexual and a lesbian, to be specific. But structurally, I still struggle to feel as if I'm really part of the body of Christ, which is the church.
We met 2 years ago, 2013, and we decided to get married last year in May, and so we've been in process, and we have been talking with our parents. He's met my parents, I've also met his parents, and so the parents are going to meet soon. We were talking now.
I mean, we fell in love the first day we met each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we did our first dance that day. He played the marimba and I danced.
From the heart, I'm not seeing hope in a church that doesn't want to change. For me, I've experienced that as oppressive because I cannot really express who I am, even though I am slowly weaving my way. Like, for example, I'm youth worker in a congregation now, but for the mere fact that I'm not yet able to be open about my relationship with Sandile, because if I do come out, then there's problems and I must probably lose my job.
That's why there's two main legs we stand on. We want to address and advocate the churches, believing that they can, that they should, and they must change if they want to stay relevant, and believing that the biggest tool for them to change is to talk to LGBTI people of faith. But if you have no LGBTI people of faith who have the courage or the maturity and who still internalize that rejection, if they don't change to become mature people who accept themselves as people of faith and as people with a different orientation, that discussion can never take place.
The staff of I Am works from a place of passion and a place from where they themselves experienced liberation, and that it's been affirmed in the faith community around them that what they experience is valuable and worthwhile to go out and share. Not as if you can make it happen for somebody else, but you can witness and reveal it's possible, because here I am. So for I Am's success, I really want to say it's people, precious people that experience this as a calling. And I Am's people, staff, and they get it from Peter as founder, because that was the essence of I Am. That is the foundation of it, being called into this journey and then passing the journey on, and then being have enough humility to know you can only be the yeast. It is not in my power to change that religious leader, but my presence and my witness I will claim and share.
Peter's own journey towards the realization that he wanted to be a catalyst within the LGBTI religious community started many years before he founded Gay and Lesbian Outreach, while he was ministering in the Netherlands.
From high school onwards, I realized that I was different. And I started my studies, studying theology, first a BA degree in Johannesburg, then at Stellenbosch University. And in my second last year at seminary, I told one of my professors, now while he was totally thrown by this. You must remember this is 1972. So I was sent to Stikland Hospital every Friday for 2 years for aversion therapy, which of course didn't work. And I was told so, and I was told by the seminary that I cannot be ordained. I ended up finally, a few years later, in Holland, where I did get a call in a congregation. And I was out, and I told the congregation I was gay. And the 7 years in Holland, to me, was the most liberating experience, realizing that life can be different. I can be who I am and still love myself, still know that I can be loved by God. After 10 years of hating myself, condemning myself, I started realizing the people around me love me, respect me not only as a human being, but as their pastor who they look up to. They embraced me. This caused huge emotional growth within me that changed my life completely. I came back with the sole purpose of starting a ministry because I believe in the power of light. I really had and still have the belief that people can change and that the church is the one place that should change, because the church preach metanoia, conversion. And the Greek word for conversion is making a total U-turn, turning around. If you don't believe in change, that people can change, you become cynical, and then there's no hope for the future of humanity. So I really believed in change, and that belief caused me to say, I want to repeat what has happened to me, to other people in South Africa who go through the trauma of self-rejection, self-punishment, rejection by society. And most of all, as a theologian, I believed that the church was on a wrong path. As they were wrong about apartheid, they are wrong about this. It's not arrogant that I believe this, it's because the light in Holland came into my life, realizing that I got to know a different God in Holland. A God of grace, guarding every step, in whose hands I can relax and feel embraced. And that is why I realized I needed to come back and start this ministry in Africa, where prejudice still prevails and is dominant. I think through our work we have saved and changed the lives of a multitude of people. We don't always see it, we don't always get feedback, but it's there. And if you just look at where the churches are now, it's not all the doing of I Am, but I do think we gave courage to people to play their role that they should be, because that is what I Am wants to be, and that has changed. In the beginning I thought I had the role of Jesus Christ and I have to change everybody, but discovered soon enough we are only a catalyst. We can plant the seed, hopefully for others to grow, to become advocates, dialogue partners, to keep the ball on rolling.
The Dutch Reformed Church was the obvious point of departure for Peter, but over the years I Am also facilitated dialogue with the Methodists, Presbyterians, Anglicans and United Reformed churches.
There are individual leaders who have high regard for I Am, who have high regard for the work that we do, who have high regard for the choice that we make, not to debate, but to choose dialogue. And I think within the church, the debate has been going on for so long that they don't really know how to engage with each other in a dialogue method. So the methodology that we have is very welcome within the church. I think over the years they have realized that we have success with our methodology, with our wheel of change, with our choice to engage in dialogue. And the high regard for I Am is because we've proven our methodology.
Our strategic partnership with I Am has been an excellent stepping stone to working with other faith communities as well. Because I Am has a lot of experience in terms of facilitating dialogue between religious leaders and faith communities or members of the faith communities. They have been very helpful in actually exposing other people from other faith communities to the same dialogue that they have been going through with the church. So the partnership is not just on the basis of we are working against stigma and discrimination, but it's also the experiences of the people and also bringing people from the church who are open about their sexuality to come and have dialogue with religious leaders from other communities as well.
There was never a doubt in my mind that I would support anybody who is part of the LGBTI communities. But IAM helped me then and empowered me to be able to dialogue sensitively but openly about issues of human sexuality.
And another thing that I learned from IAM is the difference between debate and dialogue. That has shaped my journey. Because as an activist, the tendency is to go in there and fight. But I've learned that I need to come down and meet people where they are. And that has helped me to be more successful in the work that I do.
Institutions like IAM, like forums like the Beyers Naudé Center for Public Theology, and other institutions try intentionally to create spaces within churches where people can have good discussions. There is more sensitivity in churches. I think there's growing knowledge, there's more discussion. I can tell beautiful stories of congregations who have discussion forums regarding this theme. In the old struggle years, we had the saying, you must conscientize. It's very important that we raise awareness, that there's more information, more discussion, and also conscientize in the sense of saying, but this is a matter of conscience. It's a moral issue. It's a theological issue. It has to do with faith in God, with obedience to God.
For IAM, this decision is one of the most meaningful changes over the last 2 decades. Two of the most prominent devices IAM have been using to change attitudes are their Wheel of Change and the principle of dialogue.
People say, oh yeah, debate, dialogue's all the same. It's not the same.